All right, you guys should be able to hear me. Yeah, this is coming a little bit too loud. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All right, we should be good. All right. Let's get into it. Give me 1 second. I gotta cannot see the chat, so give me 1 second, y'all. Setting this up. Building the plane as we go. It's player talk. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. Let's get it.
Thank you.
Duty calls for some Call of Duty. Go and play some Black Ops 6. I'll take it from here. Thank you. Yes, every vote counts, sir. Who's next? Who's next? Oops. Ooh, one for your son. Here you go. Hey, come back here.
All
hey,
right.
what's his name?
Pop-Tart.
Henry? Scratch and sniff. The smell of freedom.
Madam VP, you're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of
Thank
grew
you.
up in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30.
I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it. Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. This episode is brought to you by Call of Duty Black Ops 6, the woman that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today. She's the highest ranking woman in U.S. history. She's made a career of being first. She's the first woman to serve as Attorney General, African-American, Asian-American descent. She's also District Attorney of San Francisco. She was the nation's first Indian American senator. She's the first woman, first black Asian American to be elected vice president. She set the record for the most tie-breaking votes cast by a vice president. She's the first black woman, Asian American in U.S. history to win the presidential nomination of a major party. She's the first HBCU grad, making us proud. She's a Howard University alum. She's a member of the prestigious Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Here she is in person, Madam VP, Kamala Harris. Madam VP, how you doing?
Thank you very well, Shannon. How you doing?
It is an extreme honor, privilege, and a pleasure to have you on Club Shay Shay. CJ, who's the producer here, when we started this journey, Madam VP, 4 years ago, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, influencers.
Yeah.
VPs and presidential hopefuls were on the bingo card. You're here, so I want to thank you very much.
I thank you.
When we have guests come on, Madam VP, we like to toast. And what I read on this card, you don't deserve this, you earned this. Being the first in so many areas. And you make us proud. I just want you to know you make us proud for what you've been able to accomplish. And we're 12 days away, and we hope you have an even greater accomplishment. So here's to continued success in everything you've done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you, and thank you. And to you, Shannon, to you for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers to you.
Cheers.
And I'm not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this event
I don't want you to
with
fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall asleep.
So here we
God
are. Cheers to
damn it,
everybody.
Nightbot. Hold on, y'all.
So before we get into the things that you
Give me
want
1
to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back. When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to seek
What's going on,
re-election,
UFO?
and you got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home. It was a Sunday afternoon. And my niece, her husband, and their 2 young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a puzzle for the kids, and we were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone rang.
Okay.
And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, you know, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor. I knew I needed a moment to just be still, and for my spirit and my mind to have clarity about the seriousness of the moment and my role. And I'll never forget that call or that moment or that day.
Your life instantaneously changed in that moment.
Yes, it did.
Because now all of a sudden you weren't going to be running, you weren't going to be the VP anymore. you're going to be front and center. And
Right.
you knew what the undertaking.
All right, y'all. I need y'all to subscribe before y'all hit the app. I said before y'all hit the app. Jesus Christ. I need y'all to subscribe before y'all hit the poll. And definitely hit the like button, hit the Cash app, and support the show. I want y'all to evaluate Shannon Sharp's interviewing skills with Kamala Harris, okay? Some of you guys are coming through saying that she's going to be a beautiful president of the United States. There's a lot of people with kind words. Hopefully y'all vote the same way, because every time we do a Kamala poll, y'all be the last ones to show up, and it seems like more Trump supporters are more engaged and more aware of online activity in the real world than a lot of Kamala supporters. Yet the Kamala supporters are the ones yelling to go outside and go vote. I don't know why is that so backwards. Well, I kind of do, but we're going to leave it up to you. It's Player Talk Radio. Shout outs to everybody in the building, man. Like I said, y'all hit the like button, support the show, and sub to the channel. Let's get it. Let's go.
And everything you've done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you, and thank you. And to you, Shannon, to
Thank
you
you.
for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers to you.
Cheers.
And
One more
I'm
time.
not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And
Yeah, she used the box wine, Shannon. You should have bought the box wine, man. Stop with the cognac for 2 days. Get her some Franzia. Carlo Rossi. Get her some Taylor Port. Let's get it.
need to do this
I don't want you to
with
fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall
So
asleep.
here we are. Cheers to everybody.
So
What's going on, Shannon
before
B?
we get into the things that you want to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back.
What's going on, Guido?
When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to
Right, that's what I'm
seek
saying,
re-election,
Guido. Hold on.
and you
Right.
got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home. It
Right,
was a
Shannon.
Sunday afternoon. And my niece, her husband, and their 2 young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then
Shouts to
after
Raven.
that, I had a puzzle for the
Y'all hit
kids.
the like
and
button.
We were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone
That shit
rang.
crazy, right?
And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor.
Wow. Okay.
I knew
going on,
I
Braden?
needed a moment to just
Joker, what's up?
be
Jay, what's
still.
going on?
And for my spirit and my mind.
Hold
to
on,
have
I got you,
clarity
Braden.
About the
I got a
seriousness
timeout
of the
Nightbot
moment
again.
and my role. And I'll never forget
What's going on, J3?
that
What's going on,
call
player?
or that moment or that day.
Your life instantaneously changed in that moment.
Yes,
That
sir.
will be a
Now all of a
different
sudden you weren't going to be
conversation.
running,
That's crazy.
You weren't going to be the VP
That's
anymore.
crazy, Jay.
You were going to be front and center. And
Right.
you knew what the undertaking, having been 4 years as the vice president, what that moment would mean.
I had a sense of it, like so many of us, when you this is your life, right? So there are those moments where your instinct kicks in, sometimes before your conscious mind and thoughts do.
Right.
And my instinct kicked
Jinx
in
between Guido and
immediately
Raven.
that I need to focus and I need to do certain things immediately, which included making, I think we estimated I made over 100 calls that day. My team, and I have an incredible team, all came in, and nobody expected, right? It was a Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
In fact, we actually joked who had taken a shower that day. Because, people came in their workout clothes.
Right.
Lord.
Different people and, a bandana around their head, just, and came in, and we then for hours and hours, well into the night.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them why you had summoned them to come to your place? Did you give them that news, or were you waiting for them to get there to share that news with them?
Well, so the news started to, as you can imagine, pretty much immediately, and but you know, of the many blessings that I have and have had, one of them is an incredible team of people around me. You know what that's like,
yes.
Where they're just there, and they will rise to a moment, and no matter how high that moment is, or meaning how serious it is. And what I love, and it's certainly my own work ethic, that there is no job too small or too big, if there's something that needs to get done.
So although you have a huge role now, what's a typical day like for you now once you've been thrust into this? What time are you normally getting to bed? What time are you getting up? And what's some of the activities that you do in a given day?
I'd probably estimate 14-hour, 15-hour days.
Okay.
When I wake up, no matter how little sleep or how much...
Hold on, y'all. You know they're gonna get us with these ads.
sleep I've had, I work out every morning.
Okay.
I think that's cap. Kamala works out every morning. That might be cap.
Oh, you know, because
yes.
it's like mind, body, and spirit, right? And then and that's the only time of my day I really own. And then it is these days it's not unusual for me to be in 3 or even 4 cities in one day. Rallies with thousands of people, 10,000 people showing up. Making calls to folks. Just now I landed in Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, who greets me every single time.
Yeah.
So I'll talk with elected leaders who are supportive about, so for example, here in Atlanta, what do we need to do to make sure that we're giving folks the resources to knock on doors and remind folks of the power of their voice? And 12 days...
So she's doing old school, door to door advertising. Not even advertising, but just, straight up campaigning. And, we'll see. I mean, if it works. I mean, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's kind of late in the day, but it is kind of super late in the game. To be doing this, Trump is kind of just, falling back, doing harder interviews, and not dodging no questions, but just playing the internet at this point. I guess she got to do, the bigger interviews now, or I guess she got to do the more grounds root stuff now, because she wants people to get up physically and go out there and go vote. You know what I'm saying? And seeing every single politician say it, especially if they're Democrat, telling you guys to get up and go vote. So they're already assuming that you guys ain't gonna get up and go vote. They're assuming that you're lazy already. But anyway, let's get it.
And it really is a lot about trying to focus on getting folks to know their power, to not let anybody suppress or silence their voice, and to vote.
Right. So breakfast. What does Madam VP eat for breakfast, or do you have time to, or is it on the go?
No, I when I was younger, I didn't think I needed breakfast. I wasn't a breakfast eater.
Okay.
Now I have breakfast every morning. It's usually a spinach omelet. It's not very exciting.
She knows she eat chicken Bahraini and beef shawarma. Come on now.
Right.
But it's protein with a little vegetable. And, I like chicken applesauce.
What's going on, Toya?
And some toast. And then I'm going.
I like that hand
You're a couple years older than myself, so we kind of grew up in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go. Dang. We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s when music went in fire. Ohio radio player.
Oh yes, fire. You.
Toya said that's how you know she ain't black.
Fire?
Come on.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
This is
What do you
bad.
listen to now?
Oh, I wish I were listening to more music, to be honest with you, because
This is her overplaying the black card, y'all. Y'all gotta catch on to it. Toya gave y'all the gems. That's how you know she ain't black. Working out every morning. Niggas are, work out at 8 p.m. Go jogging or some shit at night, do it throughout the neighborhood or something. If they do work out, but okay. You said she got the earbuds all around her neck now for extra Bluetooth to ear. Yeah, somebody said Obama's in the earpiece. Y'all hell, man. Her campaign is building in Fortnite. They are everywhere digitally. He will make us great again. Y'all hit the subscribe button before y'all hit the poll, y'all. Oh, that's crazy, Guido. What's going on, Insane One? Look at all these new people here, uninformed and dumb. Y'all hit the subscribe button. Maybe you might find out a thing or two about a thing or two. And stop doom scrolling and sounding dumb. Yeah, Obama on the ones and twos, alright? Alright, let's get it. Let's go. It's Player Talk Radio. Hit the subscribe button, support the show. Started a little bit late today, but we putting in that work. I had to unlist yesterday morning's live stream. Joe Rogan was striking people, man. So I got struck like a damn duck. So y'all hit the like button, support the show. I'm going through great lengths to give y'all this content. Let's go.
It just. But
You don't
when
have downtime? Like when you have downtime?
I don't have any downtime.
I know, I just got monetized
I
again.
know my little violin I'm playing right now with you. I really don't. But when I love jazz.
Mm-hmm.
If it's from Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis. I love Aretha. I was just with Stevie.
Right. I saw
Stevie's. Can I tell you?
Yes, you can.
Bucket list. Stevie Wonder on my birthday sang me happy birthday. Can you believe your birthday to me?
Oh my.
Can you?
Oh my God, this is bad. This is bad. I'm getting second-hand tether embarrassment. Let's go.
Imagine.
No.
I was literally. It was surreal. Can you a bucket list moment
Right.
when Stevie Wonder himself sings you happy birthday?
What's going on, Link? Link said girl bye. What's going on, Link?
Imagine
Gotta get that body
your life
count
would have been
down.
like this.
Never.
This many years
Never.
later.
And let me tell you, my mother loved. She had every Stevie and every Aretha Franklin record, every album, like literally every one of them. So songs in the key of life, like all those Stevie songs that were about everything from the movement to optimism. I would have never, at 18, thought that he'd be singing me happy birthday. Ever. Never.
That's the least. I mean, but obviously everybody knows who Stevie is. He was a child prodigy, 13 years
Yes,
old, and
yes.
he was doing
She's a
great
Libra.
things. But to see, Madam VP, what you've been able to do, you've had so many firsts. The first woman attorney general,
Yeah.
African American, Asian American descent. You was the DA of San Francisco. You were the first Indian American U.S. senator.
And second black woman ever in the history
Right,
of the United
right,
States Senate
Shannon.
elected. Second in the history of the United States Senate.
Have you had an opportunity to sit back and reflect and say, wow, but work is not yet done?
That's more where I am. The work is not done. The work is not yet done. There's so much to do. I mean, to your point, being in the Senate, there is a weight of responsibility that I know we all feel, right? When we have been blessed with an experience that allows us to be a role model.
Great.
And to hopefully inspire people and to remind them of what's important or point out the things that need to be addressed. So, for example, as only the second black woman elected to the United States Senate, I took on a real role of leadership around black maternal mortality, which affects black women, and it affects their spouses, their husbands, their families, their children. And I feel a sense of responsibility and a very strong duty to make sure that I use my voice and in a way that is about lifting up people who have not always been in the room.
Hello, America. Mr. States and Shape stepped out for some Black Ops 6, but I'm here as his replacement. Let's start with Texas,
All right,
shall
Shannon
we?
Sharp doing the big
I think
advertisement
this
for
is-
Black Ops.
Ooh. Things are moving here.
So important. I would
That's crazy how video games are now attaching themselves commercial-wise to podcasters. Let's get it.
probably encourage myself at 18 to remember that you have a lot of
Especially war video games. Considering that there was a couple of assassination attempts on the D-Man. But let's get it.
people who are supporting you even if they don't know you. You know, that's what I mentor a lot of people, Shannon. So this is what I'm really reflecting on, which is what I tell the young people I mentor, including to know that even when you are in that room and you're the only one who looks like you or who has had your life experience, to know you are not alone in that room.
Had your life
and
experience.
that you must therefore walk in that room, chin up, shoulders back,
honey
knowing
child.
we're all there applauding you. When I mentor young women and men, I remind them that you are often going to be told, well, it's not your time.
Yeah, that's
not your
crazy, Guido.
turn, You're too young. Nobody like you has done
Right,
this before.
right,
And
right.
I
Insane
tell
one.
them, you know what, don't you ever listen to that. I like to say, I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no. You ask me what I eat for breakfast? I eat no for
No.
breakfast. I don't hear
Right,
it.
Jennifer.
And that's part of what are my life lessons that I try to share with young people to remind them that you cannot.
You know, ladies don't like hearing no. We got a lot of people in the building, man. Make sure you guys subscribe before you hit the poll. Is Shannon Sharp ass kissing and cooning? In this interview, we got 59 votes. 53% says yes, too much. 10% says no, he's being curt. 17% says she and him doing too much. And 20% says this was a good interview. Okay, so some of you guys seen it before. Let's get it, y'all. Shout outs to Link in the building. Shout outs to Toya in the building. Shout outs to my boy Insane One in the building. Shout outs to Raven Knight in the building. Y'all double tap the screen. Support the show. Support the show, y'all. Let's go into it. Let's go into it. Hopefully Shannon don't strike your boy. Giving some honest commentary. Let's get it.
Ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability, you know?
Madam VP, you were raised by a
Double
single
tap
mom.
the screen, y'all.
What did that experience tell you about your mom,
Hit the
and what
poll,
did it
y'all.
tell you about you?
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family. Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in.
Right, Raven.
And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that, you know, there is the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love. And they're equally family,
Yes.
right? And I learned that from my mother. So my mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law, who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess, because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works, because that's the way the world works. There are going to be different players with different moves, and you need to see the whole board. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s
Wow.
and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up, and that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother, and I try to also share with people.
So yeah, Howard University. And I didn't know she was an alpha. Shout outs to my Alpha Kappa alphas. You dig? Shout outs to Beachy. Shout outs to the real ones. You know, asked this question a minute ago. Do y'all feel some type of way if somebody from a fraternity or a sorority is running the country? They're in on a secret society that you probably don't know about, and it's probably not too secret, but you don't know about every single thing they do. Not saying that you should, but hey, it is what it is. What's going on, life? Alright, y'all hit the like button, support the show. Double tap the screen and hit the like button. We got 204 people in here. Let's make sure the likes matches the people in here. Hit the like button. Let's get it. It's player talk.
Right, which is the beauty of community, and it's the way I am, right? Which is,
he said that click ain't
the
saving
children
it.
in my life.
The best side hustle to do in 2024 is to
shit.
get a fully remote
Hold on,
online
y'all.
job that takes 2 hours a day to do.
Whether they be my own or, my godchildren or whomever, right? That it's a collective responsibility that we have.
Did you know you were different? I mean, were there a lot of people in the community that looked like you and like your mom? Or did your mom tell you were different?
Well, my mother taught
Well,
us.
that's the thing, Toya. Some people, it's different for everybody. I know some good sisters that are part of fraternities. But it's like, people, people are young. They want to be a part of something. I wouldn't say it's like a gang, but it can be like a gang. People need to have an identity and notoriety in certain circles and stuff like that. So if it's a small fraternity, you could try to be a big fish in a small pond or end up being a big fish in a small pond, So, it could be a myriad of reasons.
Us to, and everyone in my growing up, they would tell all of us kids that we were special.
Okay.
I don't think we were particularly special.
Right.
But they told us we were, and we believed them.
Yeah, for benefits.
We believe them. I think that's such an important part of what we can all do for the children and the children in our lives. And, but
Right,
my mother
insane one.
raised 2 black girls to be proud black women. Back to music, one of the soundtracks from my childhood was, You Are Young, Gifted, and Black. And that's what it was.
I'll get the phone number later. And we're back,
Shannon
America.
definitely
Your
running these Call of
moderator.
Duty streams, man.
Your life that touch you deeply, and then to lose that person, it leaves a big void, right? That's the two sides. And I think that part of what I was just talking about this, but the big part about grief is, especially if you lose somebody to a sickness, to an illness, I think it's really important that you try to remember them as they lived and not as they died.
Right.
Because I think that's how they'd want us to remember them, but also to remember their suffering, which hopefully was a fraction of their time on this earth, is to compound the grief in a way that I think it adds to the pain. And what they'd want is that their active memory, that our active memory of them is about when they were vibrant and alive. So
Let's get into things that will change what will happen if you were to become president, say in the next 12 to 13 days.
All right,
Polls
let's see what
suggest
she
that
gonna
voters
say.
trust President Trump,
Let's see what she gonna say. She gonna mention Trump about like 10 times.
former President Trump, more on the economy. What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, while
I can see that UFO.
Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was.
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those checks that went out?
Yes. Those stimmies?
Right. Right.
Stimulus check.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. Yes. Yes.
We got to be full. Stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and Congress. People like Maxine Waters, people like Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Yes.
Who did the work of pushing to say, people need help right now and we need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it, including from Donald Trump's White House.
Yes, even him. I think he was resistant to it at first.
Yes. That's why those checks, remember, Congress holds the purse.
Yes.
So really, Congress wrote those checks. But then Donald Trump, unlike any president before or after, decided he put his name on those checks.
So therefore, people thought
Donald Trump, they gave me that check. And so let's clear that up.
Yeah, you
first
gotta play
and
the
foremost.
game how it
But
goes.
let's also deal with where he was in terms of his policies on the economy. He gave the biggest tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations, which caused an incredible deficit. He tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which we also call Obamacare, which benefited so many people, including and in particular black people in America who otherwise were denied by the insurance companies health coverage because of pre-existing conditions.
yes, that's most important. Let the people know.
Right?
With a Affordable Care Act, if you have a pre-existing condition, insurance companies can no longer deny you coverage.
That's exactly right. And if you think about what that means in the context of also knowing the big health disparities we have in the black community,
Correct.
and how more likely, therefore, black folks might be to have pre-existing conditions.
High blood pressure, diabetes,
all of
certain
that.
cancers.
All of that.
Yes.
Asthma for our children.
Yes. Sickle cell trait.
It's all of that. So by getting rid of the pre-existing condition ban, what that did, but he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
What we have done, and part of my policies going forward include what we need to do to not only retain the cap that we got on insulin at $35 a month for seniors. By the way, black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
Correct.
He wants to get rid of it with that Project 2025. Everybody needs to check that out. What he would do to get rid of Social Security, or at least raise the age to 70, so you'd have to work to 70 to be able to qualify.
Right.
Get rid of Medicare, get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And that's just on health policy, not to mention bringing back not only tax cuts for the richest people, but what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay.
So you could work, and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for it.
For overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion.
I'm finding out how a lot of people are just now realizing how crazy she is at this point. It took y'all a long time. And white people didn't start really reacting to this shit until she wheeled out Obama for black people. White people got more mad than black people. It's still blowing my mind. I'm trying to figure out, how did white men and white women just turn on her overnight like this? You know? Y'all don't give a fuck no more. Y'all, shit, Fox said, fuck it. After that Bayer, the Brett Bayer interview, Fox just started saying, fuck it. You know? Y'all are through the roof with this one. 313 people in the building, man. Let's hit the like button, double tap the screen. Make sure you guys subscribe before you hit the poll. Let me know. Is Shannon Sharp cooning? All right, let's get it.
That's why we have overtime pay, so you don't take advantage of workers. In addition to all of that, we're looking at...
And the reason why you have overtime and minimum wage is because minimum wage is basically saying, hey man, if I could pay you less, I would, legally. You know, if I could pay you less, I would, legally. What's going on, Degenerate? Yeah, they never really liked her at first, but they sure did play the part, life. Shout outs to Average Philosopher. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm saying the same thing. Shout outs to my wrench holders in the building. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Wrench holders, y'all definitely set the trend. Y'all hit the like button. Support the show. It's Player Talk. Let's get it.
Donald Trump, basically somebody who has never been understanding of the issues that affect the community about disparities. And I'm going to talk, for example, about how when he was a landlord, he denied rent to black families. Mm-hmm. You look at what he did in terms of taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against the Central Park Five, which were a bunch of, they're not young adults, they were teen.
And trust me, if the worker is not going to pay those taxes, the business is going to pay those taxes. That money will get taxed. That money will get taxed.
Teenagers, black and brown teenagers.
Shout outs to Prop Money.
Took out a full page
I
ad
appreciate
on
that, man.
in the New
Double
York
tap the
Times calling
screen,
for their
y'all.
execution for crimes they did not commit. They were innocent. Donald Trump, who said of the first black president of the United States, the birtherism,
Mm-hmm.
to have people question whether he was born in the United States, to try and diminish. And then most recently, you look in this very election, legal black immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, saying they're eating their pets. So part of what we have to help people understand is don't think you're in Donald Trump's club. You're not.
Right.
He's not going to be thinking about you. You think he's having you over for dinner? You think that when he's with his buddies, his billionaire buddies, he's thinking about what we need to do to deal with addressing, for example, my work around what I'm doing to address disparities in black men's health, around colon cancer, around what we need to do around screenings, what we need to do around...
So obviously, fake accent at all, she's spinning the block on black people, especially black men. Yeah, it's like ice skating uphill. Yeah, she's spinning the block on niggas. All right, let's get it.
Prostate cancer, black men are twice as likely to have, and screenings, what we need to do to address...
I'm a survivor of prostate cancer.
Right, you know what I'm talking about.
Go James and the Lakers are back putting on a show, and you know I got to get the best deal on tickets. That's why I need to tell you about my sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more sports. I'm excited to go see the Lakers dominate the Sixers at the Crib. They put all their tickets across the web in one place. So look for the green dot.
Shannon running these commercials.
Imagine how it would feel if you could learn to play worship guitar
I'm
like
getting
a
triple
pro
teamed,
in just
y'all.
10 days. Listen, I know
Inflation, gas prices are extremely high. Groceries are extremely high. This rent, I mean, it used to be when I was renting, they moved the rent up $40 a year. Now they moved it up $400.
So let's talk about that. I'm glad you raised that. So for example, groceries, yes, the prices are still too high. You know it, I know it.
Yeah.
Part of my plan is to deal with price gouging. I did it when I was Attorney General. I'm going to do it as president, which is these companies that will jack up the prices of groceries to take advantage of people in need, and in particular during a crisis, like what you see around the pandemic or Hurricane Helene.
Yes. Milton.
Right?
Yes.
Milton, right?
Well, I'll also say that a lot of the stuff that she's talking about probably didn't happen during her vice presidential run, because Joe Biden really doesn't like Kamala. Joe Biden really does not like Kamala at all. They say he can't stand her.
So there's that. In terms of housing, first of all, we know that black families are 40% less likely to own their home. And we can go back to redlining. Mm-hmm. We can go back to policies that were by law or practice meant to not give black folks equal opportunity to home ownership, especially in certain neighborhoods. We can go back to what happened around the GI Bill, and when all the great generation, we call them, came back, and there was federal policy to say, you all fought for our country, we're going to give you a boost around helping you buy homes. But those black servicemen,
hold on, I'm gonna try to fix it, Raven.
Those black servicemen
y'all hit the
did
like
not.
button.
So you had then a
Support the show,
time when
hold
there was
on.
a boost for, it ended up being not for black service members. So part of my policy is to, one, create a fund so that we will give a $25,000 down payment to first-time homeowners to just help people get in the door. We will.
You're gonna need that 25,000, but they're gonna get that back on you. They're gonna get that back with property tax, closing costs, nigga. Yeah, niggas ain't really buying no goddamn $100,000. Show me a house in the city for $100,000. But anyway,
deal with the rent issue, because part of what we're seeing in Atlanta,
and a house ain't always an asset, because you got a lot of houses nowadays losing value.
places across our country, is these corporations are buying up all these properties.
Mm-hmm. So 20K, 25K, nigga, the person selling you the house will laugh at you.
Which means then that they don't have to deal with competition between the properties, and they're jacking up rent costs. So it's about also going after that corporate gouging around what they're doing to buy up and then jack up the prices of rent. We also need to help people with small business ownership. I did, even before I was running for president, a tour, I called it the Opportunity Economy Tour, focused on black men and black entrepreneurs. What we know is, unlike Donald Trump, who got $400 million handed to him practically on a silver platter, and by the way, Shannon filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Everybody wants to say he's a great businessman. Take a look at his record. I know that so many of our entrepreneurs who have great ideas don't have access to capital, but they have a serious work ethic, great ideas, and a plan to do the work. So part of my plan is to increase access to capital, including giving $20,000 forgivable loans for startup capital for people to buy the equipment.
Right.
And then to change the tax deduction, so whereas it is now $5,000, to make it $50,000 to start a new business, because nobody can start a new business on $5,000.
No.
And the direct benefit, when we're looking at black entrepreneurs, is profound. And all it is about saying this: Americans in general, regardless of their race or gender, we have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams, but not everyone has access to the opportunity to let some actually accomplish that. I want to increase access to opportunity.
Listen, unfortunately, I've gone viral a few times, but I've never gone viral for GLP-1s for weight loss. So you've probably heard about the once weekly shot that can help you lose an average of 20% of...
Man, Shannon, you doing it with these commercials, man. God damn. You can't even reflect on what the hell she just said.
You know, people, disability, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries. What are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, and she taking advantage of y'all, man. The rich people, they file Chapter 7. They hide their assets in their businesses and stuff like that. They lawyers are with them through all those bankruptcy files and stuff like that. They make sure they keep their assets. Tell me something Trump lost in all them bankruptcies. Tell me something he lost.
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out.
Will he lose a smaller building and bought a bigger one?
What hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check. Right? It's their...
Hit the like button, y'all. All at one time. Double tap the screen. Just tap real quick. That's all you need. That's all I need you to do. Give me 1 second, y'all.
The only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security, is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand, on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right?
All right. But that doesn't make everything better. This ain't Robin Hood. Let's double tap the screen, tap. Double tap the screen, tap. Rich people, you need rich people. That's how Americans get the hand-me-downs. Okay? You need rich people. Alright? The rich get richer and the poor gets poor. It happens. It's not even really the economy. It's the spending habits. It's a lot of different things that go into it. You know? A lot of things that go into it. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. Let's get to the poll. Make sure y'all subscribe before y'all hit the poll. Subscribe before y'all hit the poll. We got 153 votes. Is Shannon Sharpe kissing ass and cooning? 62% says yes, too much. Damn, unanimous decision. Yes, too much. 10% says no, he's being curt. 12% says she and him doing too much. 16% says this was a good interview. All right. So y'all believe that Shannon Sharpe is doing too much.
Can afford to. And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents a $6,000 child tax credit to help them pay for child care, for a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community. That you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rallies. He will spend full-time talking about...
Oh my God, now here she goes, pivoting right back to Donald Trump. She spends more time talking about Trump than anything else, y'all. And y'all been letting her get off with this shit for months. Critically at this point. Critically.
I was going to say Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. It might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. He'll spend full time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what he's going to do for families, for working people. And we're 12 days out. This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime. My perspective, and I will be the kind of president who spends full time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism. On January 20th, a new president is going into the White House. Period. A new president is going into the White House. Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there feeling...
All right. So we got a smarty pants in the building that's not paying attention. Why do you come into a chat room and just off the bat start asking questions instead of actually figuring out what's going on and figuring out why the content creator's asking certain questions by figuring out the context of what's going on? DeAndre Wright says, how is asking questions to get the candidate to talk about their positions doing too much because you don't agree with the positions? No one's talking about agreeing with the positions. We're talking about, is he doing too much? Because interviewing the presidential candidates at this point this is water under a bridge. Like, what answer do y'all expect to hear at this point? How much interviews do you have to watch? Did you just get here, or are you just kind of just going around asking weird questions? Because so much stuff has happened during these interviews. How much times do you want to keep hearing people say the same thing? So guess what happens? This is what people do. They beat around the bush. They ask flammable questions. Some people are looking to get clout. And a lot of this is just a campaign to get certain groups of people to vote. Are you paying attention, or are you just go around to random lives and just start asking weird questions about something that we all should be knowing at this point? Let me know.
Now his enemies list, spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge.
Right, insane
or
one.
Looking at the Oval Office and knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people.
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you?
No. Look, people work hard all their lives. And they deserve to be able to retire with dignity.
Right,
I'll tell you
Brian.
how I
reads
come
off
at
a
this. I come at it
teleprompter.
from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care, or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right, that we should have policies that give people dignity.
Well, America has drained most of their people's pockets to the point that they know how much you should have, or how much you should be making, or how much of a disaster are you away from a disaster. And you want to know when these stats really started coming out? During the Biden administration. All right, let's go.
Especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care.
Okay.
And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for Social Security, because the same thing. We shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority for you?
What is a priority for me is making sure that access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for everybody. That's why I have fought for what we need to do around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, it's been like this? Because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto. Because he was, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right, your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights gonna be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children, who birtherism accusations against the first black president. Not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin. We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why Donald Trump has not earned the support of folks to be president of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID. You remember those days?
All right, now Obama said that people will go. You know, people will pass away during COVID. You know, people will be, they will go during COVID. You dig? We need at least 5 supporters. Y'all hit the Cash App. What's going on, D-Mac? Yeah, they're copy and paste. So during the pandemic, you can expect to lose people. You can expect to lose people during the pandemic. Any pandemic. So she does more campaigning for Trump than Trump will ever do for himself.
I do.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States. It's one thing if he has a television show that's very popular. He can put his name on a building. Even though we all know he was not a terribly good businessman, which is why he filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But that is one thing. To be president of the United States means to try and find common ground, to build consensus, to lift up the American people instead of trying to beat people down all the time. It means solving problems, which means you have to be able to get out of your own head and scan to be concerned about the well-being of other people and then do something about it. Does anyone think Donald Trump thinks that way?
Yeah, well, empathy requires you to divorce your own ego to see yourself as someone else.
That's exactly right. And we know that's not his character. So it's about, is this the right person for that job, right?
He said immigrants are taking black jobs. I don't know what those black jobs that they're taking. Can you elaborate on that? What the immigrants are taking? What black jobs?
All right, here we go, y'all.
It's just another example of him trying to divide and him trying to scare people. It's just another example of him doing that, of him trying to say it's either you or them, right?
So is he really dividing? Is he really dividing? Y'all hit the subscribe button before y'all hit the poll. Support the show, y'all. Is he really dividing or trying to scare people?
And the other thing is that it's incredibly demeaning because, and he still has not been forced to define, Donald Trump, what do you define as a black job? Because let me tell you what I define as a black job. Vice President of the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
It is.
Come
I don't know about the pay, but it's a good job to have. That'll be.
Well, not everybody is Shannon Sharp.
We got 353. We got 353 people in the building. Y'all hit the like button. Let's try to get the likes at least to 100, y'all. Double tap the screen. It's free. I'll wait. I'll give y'all 3 seconds. Double tap the screen. Only takes 2 seconds. Double tap the screen. There we go. 55. 55. Let's try to get to 100. We got 55. Double tap the screen. It won't hurt. What's going on, Famous Davis? We do need 5 people to support the show. Giving y'all some good content. What's going on, LT, man? Peace to you. Shout outs to you, brother. I'm going to be sending some more customers your way. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. We at 67. Let's get to 100. 385 people in the building. Let's get to 100. Double tap the screen. All you got to do is tap, tap. That quick. Yeah, she definitely go where she's comfortable. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people are saying that she's scared of Joe Rogan. Double tap that screen. If you voting for Trump, double tap that screen. All the Trump supporters, before you hit the poll, subscribe to the channel, but make sure you double tap the screen. If you're voting for Kamala, double tap that screen. Good, we at 76. Come on, y'all. 76. Yes, sir, LT, man. Same here. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. Support one of the hardest working YouTubers you know. We at 80, y'all. We at 80. We almost there. We can get there. Come on. Double tap the screen, y'all. It's player talk. Let's get back into it. Let's at least get to 100. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, if you know what I mean. Shout out to Bronze Flat Power God in the building. Let's get it. Double tap the screen, y'all.
You've been in basically your adult life. You've been a public servant.
Yes, I have.
You've been AG.
My whole adult life.
You've been a DA.
Yeah.
You've been a senator. You've been VP. Is that what you envisioned? Is that what you always wanted to be, was a public servant?
I've always wanted to serve. You know, I was raised, I mean, back to whether you are, however you are raised, in the community in which you are raised, including the church in which you are raised, I have always believed that it is an important pursuit to figure out how you can serve. And we can do it in different ways, right? I chose public service. You chose a different route.
Absolutely,
but it's about
LT.
service. And I have always, I mean, I've only had one client my entire life.
Right, Raven?
And the reason I keep doing it is because I know the difference that I and we can make when we believe in what is possible and then work hard at it. And my pledge in this campaign to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, what you look like, I will be a president for all Americans. And I will work to bring our country back together because, frankly, I think people are exhausted with the anger, with the hate.
So what I think she's trying to be is she's trying to be a little bit different, but overall she's trying to be this female Obama. She's trying to be the black woman Obama. And if y'all know anything about Obama's term, that wasn't really good. That didn't really help us. So imagine the woman version. Uh-oh.
With the division, the attempt to have Americans pointing their fingers at each other, I think people are exhausted. It's not healthy for the productivity of...
And she let Trump beat her by trolling her by working at McDonald's before she did. She let Trump get to the McDonald's bag before she did. Double tap the like button, y'all, before y'all hit the poll. Yeah, now all of a sudden she bringing up churches and pastor, and you better thank a union member. You better hit the subscribe button, y'all. We need at least 5 people to hit the Cash App. Y'all support the show. You better support a hard-working union member. You better support a YouTubian.
Our country? Like, do we want to strive?
Obama, oh no.
Or do we want to spend full time with vengeance, demeaning other people? And living a life of service is about, I think, the importance of lifting people up.
What made you laugh, y'all? Y'all owe me a like. Let's get it.
Carrying them down.
My team here at Shay Media is always growing and making moves. Sometimes our technology will start running up to you and licking you. This is what I'm going to do. My administration's going to do while I'm in office. You're pandering. How do you get through to those that says, look, this is what I'm going to do. If I'm elected president, these are the policies, and they will lead to meaningful and impactful change.
Well, part of it is just to be candid. I think that there's sadly a misinformation out there about who I am and what I've done, because if people are informed about fact, they will know that almost everything that I'm talking about doing as president is built on a foundation of work that I've been doing for years. If it is about economic empowerment of the Black community and all communities, I've been working on that. As vice president, I am responsible for billions of dollars from big banks and big corporations, including technology companies, getting in.
All right, you gonna tell the people you're responsible for billions of dollars, and the same people gonna ask you, all right, so why are you giving the people that got that whose house blew down the street in Florida $750? You know, why are you giving them $750 and you sending millions and billions to the Middle East? Y'all hit the Cash App, y'all. Let's go.
To community banks to increase access to capital for minority-owned and other small businesses. If you look at my work over a period of years, my focus again on something like maternal mortality is long-standing, which directly impacts Black men and Black women.
Right.
And the Black family. If you look at the work that I am doing that is about small businesses, you know, the person who helped my mother raise us, who was a second mother to us, was a small business owner. I have always focused for such a long time on what we need to do, knowing that our small businesses are part of the culture of our communities, right? Including the economic fabric and strength of the community. So what I'm talking about doing right now is based on long-standing work. It's not new. But as President of the United States, part of why it is important is it is a new approach to that job. It is about a new way that is based on a new generation of leadership, that is based on new ideas, and frankly, a different experience that brings my commitment to the work I am talking about into being.
Can you give us...
And see, a lot of people don't understand how the world works, because when she gets in the office, man, the other countries are going to be hoeing America. They're going to be going in on America. There's no presence with America. They're gonna be picking on America. They're not going to respect America. America going to be soft. They're going to dupe her into a war. It's not good.
To break down how you will allow Blacks and other minorities to access capital, because you speak a lot about capital, and in order for people to become successful and have some wealth, is that they need to have access to that to get started.
So that's in fact why I did, starting earlier this year, my economic opportunity tour, way before I was running for president, because I realized that so many of our entrepreneurs don't actually have we need to do better in getting information to people about what's available to them. So for example, through the Small Business Administration, there are funds available to help people create a business plan. There is resources available to help people just know how that you need to run a payroll, how you need to pay business taxes. Part of my plan, by the way, is to simplify taxes for small businesses. I like to say it's basically, I'm going to date myself, like, you remember the 1040EC? Did you ever have to do a 1040EC? Probably never.
No.
Okay, I did. But, you know, simplifying tax returns for people, including our small businesses. But the work that I have done and will continue to do is about knowing that we don't lack for hard work, we don't lack for good ideas, but we do lack for information about the help that is available. So that's part of how it is going to be about increasing access to capital. Part of it is about putting more money. So I called up and got in touch with and worked with some of the big CEOs of the biggest corporations in America and said, and the big banks, that you all don't necessarily, you're not there in the community where you can get a $100,000 loan to a small business. You guys deal at a different level. But those $100,000 loans for a startup, will go a long way. Let's get those billions of dollars that you've got, put them into community banks who are in the community, who know what the community needs, what they want, what the consumers there want, and then support those small businesses. So that's my approach to access to capital, including making sure that people have, again, simplifying taxes for small businesses. You know why, Shannon? Small businesses can't afford to hire a bunch of accountants.
Yeah, they can't help you.
And a bunch of lawyers. But that shouldn't be the reason they fail, because they didn't fill out the form properly. Right?
Yes.
So my approach is really understanding the culture, understanding the needs, and then trying to fix problems. I love fixing problems with common sense solutions. And again, look, Donald Trump is never going to relate necessarily to the kind of folks that I'm talking about, who on the ground just need to be seen and heard, and then let's fix the problems. Let's address the challenges to let them not just get by, but get ahead. And I want to put a fine point on this. Maybe it's a new perspective. I think it is. I believe that we have had great success in bringing black unemployment down to historic lows.
Yes.
But for me, that's a floor. For me, that's a floor. Because what I know is that it should be baseline that everybody's working. That's not enough. People want to build wealth.
Yes.
And intergenerational wealth.
Correct.
And I want to help people do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what folks want to be able to take a nice vacation from time to time, have nice Christmas gifts for their kids under the tree. And it can't just be about, well, you got a job, applaud me for what I've done for you. And that's the spirit with which I do my work.
I saw President Trump on a TV show, and he talked about defunding the Department of Education.
Yes.
Basically, we know that's going to affect communities like us that don't have the resources. And then because he says he doesn't, if they talked about slavery, which is a part of our history, it's
that they're trying to cover up.
Yes.
That they're trying to cover up.
They talk about racism. And he said, well, what we would do if they talked about it, they wouldn't get funding. And we know what communities are going to be most impacted by non-funding.
And understand that they want to get rid of the Department of Education and get rid of Head Start. You know whose kids are in Head Start? They want to...
Well, we're not going to talk about what the Democrats are really trying to do with the education. We're not going to talk about what the Democrats are trying to do with the education. Shout outs to everybody in the building. Y'all hit the like button. Double tap that screen. Let's get over 150 likes. 350 people in the building. You can double tap that screen. Hit the like button, y'all. Subscribe before y'all hit the poll. We got an active poll going on in the chat. What's going on, Aunt T? Shout outs to you, player. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you. Yeah, trans school. Alright. So we got 329 votes. Is Shannon Sharpe ass kissing and cooning? 58% says yes, too much. 12% says no, he's being curt. 12% says she and him is doing too much. 18% says this was a good interview. All right. That's what the people are saying, that this was a good interview. All right, yes, we hit over 100. Let's keep the likes going. Let's get the support going. We need at least 5 supporters. Y'all hit the Cash App. It's Player Talk Radio. Let's get it. Let's go.
It is, and to your point, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, you know, these are the same people who basically suggested that enslaved people benefited from slavery. The same people who are trying to ban and are banning books. Mm-hmm. And again, if we don't teach America's
going to be most impacted by non-funding.
And understand that they want to get rid of the Department of Education,
right, Gigi,
and get rid of Head Start. You know whose kids are in Head Start? They want to, it is, and to your point, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, you know, these are the same people who basically suggested that enslaved people benefited from slavery.
Now the Democrats, they are pro-slavery. They endorse slavery. They have benefited off of slavery. See, if you don't know your history, people can tell you anything. So we're just going to start there. People can tell you anything because people will assume that you don't know your history. The Democrats are pro-slavery. Let's go.
The same people who are
Thank you, insane one.
Ban and are banning books.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if we don't teach America's full history, we will never ensure that we don't make the same.
Yes.
So who's going to teach, and who are you teaching America's full history to? What does that mean? What the hell does that mean?
To do those same things again.
Let's learn from that painful.
Our shoes are more comfortable than yours, and I'll prove it right now.
Your president will wear a bra.
Part of our history to make sure we don't repeat it, but not by not covering it up. Let's have an open and honest conversation about it. It happened.
And the effects of it.
Yes.
And the present day effects of it.
Mm-hmm. I think we both agree. I think we can all agree on this, that there is a problem with, I don't know how the correct term, I think it's undocumented. Mm. How do we get a hold on that, Madam VP? How do we make sure, because I think I've heard you say you want a path to citizenship, but we want to, make sure people come in and do things properly.
Yes, that's exactly right. So first of all, I have personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have prosecuted the Sinaloa cartel, okay? The Guadalajara cartel. So I put my record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border and making sure that there is not that kind of trafficking into America. I also know that we need to put more resources at the border, which is why I supported a bill that came about, including from the most conservative members of Congress, to put 1,500 more border agents at the border, to do what we need to do to cut down the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is killing people of every race and background. More resources would have gone to prosecuting human trafficking. Donald Trump got word of that bill, and he knew it would be a solution to a problem, which is that we have a broken immigration system. He got word of the bill, and he told his friends in Congress, don't put it up for a vote. Don't let it go any further. Because, you see, he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Okay, but why didn't you pass the bill when you were in office? You're in office right now. You could pass the bill. Why isn't the bill passed now? Donald Trump hasn't been in office for about 5 years. He hasn't been in office for about 5 years. And the Democrats been running it for the past 12. Maybe that's too much of a hard question.
Right.
And is putting out tens of millions of dollars of campaign commercials full time, trying to suggest that he cares about strengthening the border when he had an opportunity to participate in a solution, which he killed because he's not about problem solving. It's about a political game for him. My point is, we got to strengthen the border, and we need to have an immigration system that is fair and humane and strong in terms of making sure that people have to earn citizenship, they have to work hard to get it. My plan includes also strengthening what we need to do in terms of illegal entry in between ports of entry, what we need to do to put more support for Border Patrol agents, put more technology at the border. But it includes also, I'm never going to talk about people.
I mean, what worked though? What work do they have to put in? What work do they have to put in? All right, let's get it.
People from Haiti eating their pets. And I think that we also know we don't want an immigration system that's about separating children from their parents. We can do it in a humane way, but the bottom line is we can fix these problems. The solutions are at hand. He stands in the way, and in particular on this issue.
If you were to become president, would you ask Congress to reinstitute that bill and try to get it through?
Absolutely. And also I would work across the aisle with Republicans. There are a lot of Republicans supporting me in this campaign. And I would work with Republicans to bring this bill back up so I can sign it into law. And I do want to talk about that for a moment. This is not 2016 or 2020 in terms of how people are thinking about Donald Trump. He was president, and the people who worked the most closely with him, Republicans at the highest level, his former chief of staff, his former defense secretaries, his former national security advisor, and his former vice president, have collectively said he is dangerous and unfit to be president of the United States. And Shannon, you can just watch his rallies. I mean, did you see that 39 minutes of him swaying back and forth to YMCA? No, the man, you have to.
You're not about to talk about how niggas are dancing and shit like that. You know, Kamala Harris, she dances like Elaine off of goddamn Seinfeld with the kick and everything. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to judge how niggas is dancing and shit. But okay, so allegedly, y'all hit the like button, hit the Cash App, y'all. This is her response to Donald Trump being on Joe Rogan. I'm not sure if she watched the whole 3 hours, but she made sure to give Shannon Sharp 1 hour. So let's get it.
Watch, and I encourage everybody who's watching this, watch what he's doing at these rallies. He is increasingly unstable and unfit to be president, according to the people who knew him best. All Republicans, by the way, who I just referred to, who know he is unfit to be commander-in-chief. He who will talk about service members. A lot of your listeners and the people who are a fan of your show have served or do serve in the United States military. He talks about military service members as being uncourageous, as being cowards, suckers, and losers. This is how the man talks. And so let's not get distracted by who he was on The Apprentice. Let's not get distracted by whatever, building in whatever city in Vegas or wherever has his name on it. Let's look at the job of President of the United States. And is he fit to do that job? And by the people who know him best, including most recently, a 4-star Marine general, his former chief of staff, they all say, those who know him best, he is unfit and dangerous.
The previous administration.
Hi, my name is Julie.
Oh, Lord,
we
here we
chose
go.
a tiny home because we were looking at doing an extension on the house.
Your administration that you were in, they got kudos for the student loan relief.
Yeah.
What's the contingency plan? Because I see it's still trying to go through and some of the courts have shot it down. Do you have a contingency plan to continue the student relief?
I'm going to keep fighting for it. And yes, because first of all, what I know is that too many people have been weighed down by their student loan debt.
Yes.
To the point they question whether they can have a family, whether they can retire at some point, whether they can buy a home. So that's why I pushed for what we did around student loan debt. And thankfully, for example, we have billions of dollars in student loan debt relief that have gone, for example, to public servants like teachers and nurses and firefighters. But there's more we need to do. But, if I go into various communities like here in Atlanta and ask people how many people got their student debt relieved, the number of hands that go up and the life-changing experience people have had reminds me of the importance of this fight, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Have you let people know that President Trump, if he were to get back in office, he wants to offer police complete immunity? That they can do no wrong, no matter what, how egregious the act may be?
I don't know about that student loan stuff. I heard Biden said that he was going to give people student loan forgiveness. Y'all let me know. Have y'all gotten y'all student loans forgiven? Yeah, my Nightbot is... I timed him out and it's just not working. Hold on, y'all. What is he doing? Nightbot. Hold on. God damn it, Nightbot. Let me time out Nightbot again. Yeah, man. She tripping. Y'all support the show at $ PTV 888 at $ PTV 888. A lot of people go to school just to pay school. All right. Let's get it.
They have complete immunity. Do people understand what that means? Do they really understand what that means, Madam VP?
I hope so, and I encourage people to go online to see how he says it. I encourage people to go online to see how he talks about a day of violence. Did you ever see the movies? Right. Understand. Again, don't take my word for it.
Take his.
Yeah, take his. And see where he stands on these issues.
I want to get you out of here on this one, Madam VP. You, like myself, attended and graduated from a historically black institution.
Proudly.
And it just goes to show you, if you look at myself, Stephen A., Michael Strahan, three of the most prominent voices in morning television, attended and graduated from an HBC. Yourself ascended to the highest of highs, graduated from an HBCU. Mm-hmm. What message would you like to share with students at all these historically black universities and colleges? What message would you like to share with them?
Oh, know your excellence. And know we are so proud of you. And we want you to have ambition. We applaud your ambition. We want you to know you can do and be anything. Mm-hmm. And don't ever hear no. And that no, you stand on broad shoulders, right? Mm-hmm. Because part of what we know is we have a legacy.
We do.
And we stand then in that path, knowing that we also have the honor and the duty of excelling in every way possible, being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same.
One more thing, I think something that's very, very near and dear to your heart is Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
I think 50 plus years, I think 72, 73, when it was Roe v. Wade said, hey, women have the...
Yeah, she going super hard for that Roe versus Wade. And I'm trying to figure out who the hell that she's telling that they can do anything they want and be free and all kinds of shit. Because you know what happens? As a man, if you're heterosexual and you're free and you want to do whatever the hell you want, you go to jail. Yes. I don't know if you know this or not, Kamala, but you go to jail. Yeah, and then she's jumping into legacy. You're right, insane one. And nobody's calling out Shannon. They're not calling out Charlemagne. Because they're openly calling her black. And nobody's contesting that.
Right to their bodies, and all of a sudden the Supreme Court struck it down and says, no, you don't. We have control over that. Yeah. What would that mean to you? So how do you get that? How do you go back and fight to make sure women still have control of their bodies?
So I'm so glad you brought it up. Shannon, first of all, think about one of the most basic rights that you could imagine.
Right,
is the
lady.
right for you to be able to make decisions about your own body.
Correct.
Your own body.
Your reproductive rights.
And the court just took that right away from women. to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do. And I think an important emphasis for me is,
I mean, they did give it to you.
You don't have to give up your faith or deeply held beliefs on this subject to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. If she chooses, she'll talk with her pastor, her priest, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her. And we need to fight against this. We need to understand how many women are suffering miscarriage and being denied help because the doctors are afraid they may end up in jail. In Texas, do you know they provide prison for life for doctors or nurses who provide reproductive care? Prison for life, Shannon. In the state of Georgia, a beautiful young woman, a mother of a 6-year-old son, died because of these Trump abortion bans. The majority of black women and the men who love them live in the South.
Yes.
Do you know in every state in the South except for...
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're checking
Thank you, Insane One. Hold on, y'all.
Instead, try this technique from the mind science pioneer.
Hitting me with commercials.
For Virginia, there is a Trump abortion ban?
Yes, I do. Hopefully everybody else knows that also.
Right. And so we all have to stand, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race, your background. We have to stand and say, look, this is just simply not right, and we cannot stand for the notion that Donald Trump could be president of the United States, he who chose a Supreme Court that would take this right from the women of America and the men who love them. And now we have women suffering to such an extent as they are. I think it's one of the most fundamental rights that's at play.
One more thing before you go, Madam VP.
Yes.
Who's the real HU?
Oh, come on.
I'm just asking. I didn't want to know. I don't know. I didn't go to either one, so I just wanted to hear you.
You know.
Madam VP, Kamala Harris.
Thank you all. Thank you, Shannon.
All right. That was interesting. That was interesting. Hold on, y'all. Now I want to show y'all something also. Candace Owens did a video.
All right, guys.
And she said that this man right here.
All right, guys. So we previously told you that there is a journalist
has helped Kamala Harris and has mysteriously passed away. Give me 1 second.
An accomplished journalist named Yoichi Clark Shimatsu.
Now let's get the likes up, y'all. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Let's at least try to get 2 supporters. Can we at least get 2 supporters for today's show? I'm already past my curfew. I need to be studying. But I'm here kicking it with you guys. We already got 24,000 views. Let's at least get the likes up. All right. LT Man said, and why is the government always putting men in jail for child support? Absolutely. Absolutely. If a woman has the opportunity to either carry the child or have an abortion, manage to get the ability to pay. Yeah, right. You dig? Yeah, I got struck for it, Insane One. Yeah, I went through a lot of hell in the past 24 hours with that video. I got struck for it. You know? That's why, I need you guys to really hit the like button and support these shows, because I don't know if I'm going to get struck for some of this stuff, and I make sure I'm bringing y'all the shows, giving y'all the commentary, bringing it to y'all attention, because YouTube will start hiding stuff. YouTube will start, doing their thing, So definitely I need you guys to be hitting the like button and supporting the shows. Because we, unfortunately, we have to go through it also, trying to bring you guys the news or the good game before it gets scrubbed. All right? and it gets scrubbed. What's going on, Pancho? Peace to you, player. Alright, so if y'all could please support the show, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, you know, buy a coffee. Let's get it. It's Player Talk Radio. We in the building, y'all. Yeah, man. And Joe Rogan gave Trump a fair shot. They said Kamala is afraid to go on Joe Rogan. So,
formerly the editor of the Japan Times, who made some stunning claims about Kamala Harris and her late mother, Shamla Goplin. As a graduate of Berkeley University, Clark, as he prefers to be called, ran in the same circles as them, and he claims that Kamala's mother was a part of the CIA's MK Ultra program, a psychopathic, sadistic program that ran throughout the 60s, probably is still running today, in which Americans and even government agents alike were drugged and sometimes murdered with the aim of brainwashing the masses. Clark also claims, rather stunningly, that Kamala Harris was previously married to a wealthy Canadian, a marriage which her connections to the deep state have gone through great pains to delete from public record.
Thank you, Gigi.
So is he telling the truth? Well, I'll let you decide, because today we welcome him onto the show. Welcome back to Candace.
Right, Raven.
Okay, Yoichi Clark, it is an honor to have you join the show today. I'm just going to let guests know that you are joining by audio because you are in a very remote area, but welcome to the Candace Show.
Well, thank you very much. Very glad. I'm a rather minor character in this border drama right now, and I'm afraid communications where I am really, they've been tampered with because of the border situation. It's terrible.
Well, you might be a minor character down there, but you're definitely a major character on my podcast right now. We have just been crawling through Kamala's background and her history. I'm sure you're very aware of that. And we did come across your piece, which was quite fascinating for a lot of reasons. You had mentioned a previous marriage that Kamala had. You had mentioned the MK Ultra program. I would like to just start with Kamala's mother and speak about the MK Ultra program, because it's actually a program that I have been speaking about at length on the podcast this year, that I've been asking Americans and the world to really
Now, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but Kamala does got a lot going on background-wise, and a lot of this stuff, or I guess the points that are being raised by pretty intelligent people are very interesting. Okay? So make sure you guys subscribe before you guys hit the poll. The poll says, is Shannon Sharp ass kissing and cooning and doing too much? 58% of you guys says yes. 11% says no, he's being curt. 13 said she and him is doing too much. And 18% says this was a good interview. Okay, we're gonna close it there at 450 votes. We got another poll. We got another poll. Coming. Hold on. We got another poll. Shout outs to LT Man. LT Man says, Kuda, have lunch on me and hempforfitness.com. Thank you, bro, for supporting the show. I have your commercial coming very soon. I'm actually filming the new one. That's quick and practical, and I'm gonna air it on the show. So next time you come by, I will have that on the show. Shout outs to LT Man dropping the huge $20 on the Cash App. Thank you so much for supporting Player Talk Radio. I appreciate you. Thank you, bro, for always supporting the show. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Starting the show off correct. Now give me 1 second. We got another poll coming. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, y'all. Thank you, Insane One. I was just looking for it. Shout outs to LT Man. Shout outs to hempforfitness.com. Listen. Get your hands on the best za, or whatever y'all want to call it. Get your hands on the best za in America, grown specifically and tailored to your needs. Stop messing with your plug this winter. You might get laced with fentanyl. All kinds of stuff is going on in the world. Make sure you get your gas from a reputable source. Bumbaclot. Get you some good za. Okay, man? And I'm going to tell you some real shit. He delivers everywhere. Everywhere in the United States and possibly Hawaii. Alright? Got all the strains. Sativa. He got, you know what I'm saying? He got indica. He got anything that you need. Oils, CBD, gummies, all kinds of stuff. Get you through your work day. Alright? Use CUDA. Mention CUDA and get 2 free gifts. You can't go wrong. Za, some free gifts. You gonna need it for this election. You definitely gonna need it for this election. This election, alright? Alright? Be high as hell watching who gonna be the next president, because you gonna need it this next election. If Trump wins, you gonna need to smoke. If Kamala wins, you gonna need to smoke. So don't forget the smoke. Alright, let's get it. It's player talk. Zaza Gabor, let's get it.
Familiarize themselves with. So can you just let us know how it is that you are familiar with Shamala Goplin, Kamala's mother's work, and what it is that you know about her, please?
Well, I was sort of a contemporary of theirs in the book area. I worked at a news service in San Francisco, Pacific News Service, and so very familiar with the characters there, where she lived, of the foreign student population at Berkeley. And I did attend the journalism school, the Graduate School of Journalism at Berkeley. So this is all familiar ground for me. Kamala was a prosecutor later when she was behind the incarceration of like hundreds and probably thousands of young black juvenile delinquents. Yeah, there was young kids, but you have to understand the situation then. The older guys who were running the drug trade for the cartel at the schools, they would forcibly recruit these young guys, and she was just slamming them into prison. They were just horrible, and that's one reason why a lot of
the Asian man is snitching on you. God damn. Is it Kamala half Jamaican? Oh, Bumbaclot. Rasclot. Jesus.
Black men refuse to vote for her now. She, just that one-sided treatment while she let all the major cartel figures walk, or just letting them get out of here because the cops are trying to arrest you. So she was in the thick of it. She was the girlfriend of Willie Brown, who was a lawyer. He had a law office for the cartel. Later, he became mayor and a state senator. But she was just in the dirty business. And one of my best friends and proteges, Jeff Adachi, died mysteriously.
Yes, let's actually speak about that. So you have a young friend and your protege named Jeff Adachi, and the first time that I had come across his name was in your piece, and I did do a little bit of research, and it is a fact that he did die rather mysteriously, and I think it would be fair to say that he was a contender of Willie Brown's office. Willie Brown was running somebody against him, definitely made enemies, I would say, of the Democrat elite class in San Francisco.
What's going on, New?
So could you just inform my readers a little bit more about Jeff Adachi.
The thing is, he was at Bolt Hall as a contemporary of Kamala's. He was a straight A student, and she was. They were going to kick her out because her grades were so bad, and they didn't think she'd make it in the law. She's never been a good speaker, and he was appointed to be her tutor.
Oh.
And got her to get her degree. Later on, she was hired to be public prosecutor, and strangely enough, he was a public defender, and he set up this huge program in which a lot of people really, like a lot of parents in the Western Addition and in the Fillmore, those are Black districts, were really enthusiastic because he was getting the kids out of prison. These were really hardcore prisons, and getting them into special ed programs, educational programs, work study programs, and straightening them out. And hundreds of kids, and so the community was overjoyed. And then one day he was found dead in his apartment, and they made all kinds of things. He had this affair with this Russian woman, as if she had killed him. But no, she was just a visitor in town. He had gone over to visit her and chat with her. And then the autopsy was also, the first one said, he was died of all these drugs. The second autopsy showed him to be clean. So this was just a major, I hate to use the word conspiracy, but that was a conspiracy about his murder, to eliminate the guy who knew too much about Kamala, had opposed her treatment of young people, and they offed him, basically.
Well, you're on the right program to talk about conspiracies. I'll tell you that for free. One of the things that I've noted is that it does seem that part of this, if you want to call it a cabal, call it a mafia, one thing that they understand is to make sure that they control the medical examiner's office. And I don't think that there's any person in the entire world who would doubt that now, especially following COVID, that medical examiner offices are polluted with politics. And yes, if you're listening to this, you should look into the Jeff Adachi story. There's no question. You have a young person who has his entire life ahead of him. He dies rather suspiciously, and then the media starts throwing out all of these theories, which is what they tend to do. They create a bunch of theories so that it confuses the masses, and they look everywhere but where they should be looking. Now, I did not realize that he had helped Kamala in the past. I did not realize that they had a relationship.
You would not have gone into law without his,
Man. So he's going in, and then he said the guy turned up, passed away. Raven said, yeah, they will take you out. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. What do y'all think? We got a new poll in the chat. We got a new poll in the chat. Why hasn't Kamala addressed anything that Candace Owens have said? Huh? Is there a reason behind it? Do you guys think there's a reason? She hasn't addressed anything with her Jamaican siblings. She's going in on grandmas, pictures. Now she's finding people that turned up unsubscribed from life. What is Kamala gonna do, y'all? What is she about? Oh, rise, cloud. She done found. Remind me not to get on Candace's bad side. All right, let's go.
Guidance and really attention, and it took a lot of time away from him. He was not a rich person. His father was an automobile mechanic. He worked his way through school. I mean, and as a straight A student, that's just amazing. Really nice kid. He helped me out a lot with the Southeast Asian.
What's going on, Jay?
The Vietnam War when
what's going on, Prince P?
To the U.S. And I was dealing with a flood of them and needed some legal help because we were lobbying Congress. And Jeff just stepped right forward, took care of it, and really great kid. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, he really clean kid. You know, we would go to bars in Japantown. Good singer at karaoke, but he didn't drink a drop. He was just a totally nice kid, all American.
And just what was the year, by the way, in which he passed? Or around about?
I think he died in the early 90s. I was by then in Japan. I had been hired after the San Francisco earthquake, major paper in Japan. So I took off, and I didn't hear about his death from my friends, because they were so tied up with it. And it was only much later that I heard that Jeff. I said, "What happened to Jeff?" And he says, "Oh, didn't you hear? He died." And then.
Oh man, if I made you laugh, you owe me a like, man. Y'all support the show. I can't believe they finding they're like attributing bodies to her and stuff like that. When Brett Baer said that the young girl that passed away was directly because she was letting immigrants into the States. I'm not gonna lie. I know she felt messed up on the inside. I felt messed up on the inside. Like, damn, shorty, what you gonna do about that? And when they be catching her and like, getting her caught up in these interviews, I know on the inside it's like. Why the hell that man asked me that question? Why the hell is this white man asking me that question? Looking him dead in the face like.
What is it?
Candace Owens is she going down your family tree? Oh, bumbuckler.
He shocked me, and there was nothing I could do it at the beginning, so it took me a long time to catch up with Kamala on this one.
Okay, so what is it about Kamala that Jeff Adachi knew that you believe would have created some conflict for her?
The cartel connection. Yeah. It wasn't mafia. It wasn't conspiracy. It was a cartel. She was an agent of the cartel. And I know other stories, too, about members of that. When San Francisco was very close circles. Not a large city.
Hold on, let me catch up on the chat, y'all.
We heard the same thing from...
My bad, y'all. I gotta switch pages about 4 times to catch up on the chat. Shout outs to LT, man. He said, I'm sure you remember when I was destroyed when my father passed away and I found you online. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate that, LT, man. Yeah, man. And those were like really crazy years, during COVID, Yeah, absolutely. I definitely would love to come to Chicago. I appreciate that, LT, man. I definitely appreciate that. I definitely would love to come to Chicago. I haven't been. I had so much time, so much chances to go to Chicago. Actually, before I left the States, I was supposed to go to O'Hare, and then from O'Hare to Tokyo, and then from Tokyo to Thailand. You said, Kuda, gonna have the Google search results going up for Bumbaclot and Rock. I'm telling you, man. Oh man, we're gonna have to resurrect that song. Shout outs to Toya in the bitter. Oh, Bumbaclot. I want that to be going off in your head anytime something go wrong. Y'all. Anytime something go wrong. Just remember. Hold on. Let's see if I can cue it up again. Hold on. Because we gotta get this ready. Anytime something going wrong. He said, dude, stop the pausing. I sent here for your chatting with super chats. What are you talking about, Charles? Would you like to do your own show, Charles? I appreciate you. Thank you, LT, man. No, I definitely appreciate that. Because I definitely remember. Absolutely. Yeah, man, those COVID times were crazy. I got y'all. Hold on. Oh, right.
I'm Judge.
I knew everything else, and no one really wanted to talk except me. I worked at the Pacific News Service, and I broke these stories, but even they were scared to take on the cartel.
Very interesting. And, you know, I did recently speak to Judge Joe Brown, and he kind of intimated the same, that she was definitely involved in a lot of dirty politicking, and especially Willie Brown as well. And you mentioned Willie Brown in your piece and his connection, which you allegedly had to the cartel. Could you expand on that, please?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, he was from West Texas. He was one of the, there's a lot of, in California, a lot of immigrants from West Texas. You know, when the cattle industry wasn't, the ranching industry wasn't doing well, they migrated west. He got a law degree, I believe in San Francisco. And his contact with the cartel was very, very early on. They probably helped him get his law degree. I remember one time, he knew me, you know, we were going to a public event. It was sort of like a carnival that there was going to be some speeches at. And I was walking toward that with my girlfriend, and then he comes walking right behind me, grabs me by the left arm and squeezes my arm as hard as he can. But you have to understand, I used to be a steel welder. I worked all kinds of jobs earlier in my life, so I was tough as nails. And once he felt my muscles flexing, he opened his hand up and just walked past me, past his hell, sort of in humiliation. You know, they couldn't intimidate me. This kind of guy he was.
Wow, unbelievable. You hear these stories.
He was a very threatening fellow, and he knows me. When I talked about another girlfriend of him is London Breen. She's the mayor of San Francisco, and the first thing she does for homeless people as a welcome wagon is give them a pack of syringes and a bottle of heroin to inject.
Wow.
That's not a joke. You know, this is what they're doing there.
And so working on behalf of the cartel, and we heard from Judge Joe Brown last week also that while she was in power in San Francisco, that she worked to help George Soros essentially commit legal theft by protecting one of his companies. And so we're hearing over and over again that essentially she was given power to make sure that the elites are allowed to continue these various illegal trades that they're participating in. And you seem to confirm that. I do want to...
San Francisco was run by basically the Jewish mafia. You know,
damn, Kamala did all of this? Damn. But she said Trump's a criminal. When the hell did Kamala do all of this? Shit.
Feinstein, she was born a Catholic. I went to Catholic girls' school. But she married a Jewish guy and then just flipped over. And then, and I knew, and the Jews were behind the drug industry there. I remember visiting the Harlem one because a friend told me, oh, we got to go over there and visit this guy. And we went there, and sure enough, he was the biggest dope dealer, distributor in San Francisco. He ran a garage, the big public garage in the middle of the city, where was a lot of money laundering. He was there right there.
And I'm telling you, man, politicians, they always in with the drug dealers and stuff like that. I mean, I'm telling you, like, how comes all the bad guys, quote unquote, get the keys to the city? All the bad dudes get the keys to the city for some reason. Or have the key to the city, or lost the key to the city at some point. So how does that happen?
He's shameless about it, counting the cash at his little desk while his wife jumped on me and started rubbing her boobs on my face, you know?
Who was this?
I forget his name. He was the major money launderer for the cartel, and the laundry was this huge public garage that everyone in San Francisco that parked there, because it's a very crowded city, had to use. It's this like 6-story garage, you know. And then he lived on Goat Hill there in a big mansion, And I was just invited there by a friend, and we were smoking some weed, and he was saying, this is the greatest era in American history because of heroes like what's his name, the head of Microsoft,
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, he's a giant of American industry. And I said, this guy's out of his mind. He's smoking too much. He's smoking too much of the product that he's been selling. So.
Wow,
he was very core to the whole Jewish lawyers. But more
they got the money.
Real estate industry. Because that's why they had all the young boys arrested. They clear out the Western Addition because they want to put up nice, cute little.
Now they talk about it with the drug dealers and the bosses, that a lot of the drug dealers' money after it's being sold, because she keeps talking about like the foreigners and how much fentanyl that the foreigners are bringing in. But remember, the government brought in a lot of money, a lot of drugs. People look past the fact that the majority of the people that they were selling to, the Frank Lucases and the Freeway Ricky Rosses and stuff like that, that those dudes, they weren't working for the government. Those dudes were neighborhood street dudes. But the people that they were buying all of those drugs from, they actually worked with the government. Those guys were informants. Those guys were really informants. And when the dealer, because even the government can't make that much money off of drugs, and they need the dealer, when the dealer gets rid of that drug, now he has a lot of money that he could donate to the, I'm giving y'all some hints, that he can donate to politicians, or that he can spend on something else. He can launder and clean the money. So politicians, for some weird reason, not even weird reason, because it happens so much that it's not even weird anymore. They are always around dope boys and drug dealers, because for some reason dope boys and drug dealers always get the key to the city. For some reason, Puff Daddy just got his key tooken. Lil Durk just got his key tooken, and maybe 6ix9ine. I don't know if he had a key, but whatever. 6ix9ine went down on the RICO also. And then recently I heard that they raided Jay Prince's house. So yeah, a lot of these kingpins or snitches or drug dealers or whatever, they going through it before Christmas. The feds ain't playing games, before Christmas. They're not playing games this holiday season. Spooky hours, y'all. Spooky hours. Oh, Bumbaclot.
Apartments and cottages for the gays coming in from all over the country, because they figure, because most of them come from rich families. They live.
He said 6ix9ine never had a key.
A building, sheriff quarters, and they're going to die of AIDS, within the next 6 years. So the house will be up for real estate again.
Wow.
It's really cynical. This is like a Dracula movie. It's something out of this world, and this was America's most liberal city.
All right, guys, the media has dubbed this the...
All right, hold on. Let me catch up on you guys' comments. LT Man said the modern era, the key to the city is love, symbol of civic recognition and gratitude reserved for individuals whose service to the public and common good rises to the highest level of achievement. Okay, but see, this is the thing though. Yeah, and it's like what Prince P said. People were saying that it's only because they donated a large amount. Because I know people was like, Dirk donated $150,000 to the city of Chicago, and he does give back to the city of Chicago. So that's kind of how he got the key to the city. But with this RICO and stuff like that, now they got to take all of that stuff back because he can't be the face of the city. Same thing with Diddy and New York and stuff like that. I'm not sure what Diddy did for New York, but yeah, and it's like the face, the face of the they can't have him as the face. Hell, Ciroc can't have him as the face of the company. A lot of people can't have him as the face. In a weird way though, and I guess you could call it villain advertisement, They should keep some of these bad people as the damn face, because honestly, memes and all kinds of stuff, even though his name and face is going to be tarnished, it's still free advertising. You know, I don't think people in the real world have caught on that good and bad is the same thing on the internet. There's no sense of time on the internet. You know, good and bad is you know, is the same, is damn near the same type of attention. Actually, it's even better with bad, because these websites and algorithm are trained to tell people to click on shock content. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, if you got people calling your alcohol brand the Diddy Juice, even though you're trying to get bitches drunk with it still, you know, it's backwards. You know, it is backwards. You know. Yeah, Candace is full of knowledge, but I think she does lean into a lot of conspiracy theory. But when she does, I do want to hear what she has to back up the conspiracy theory that she does lean into. Because she seems like a smart person that's not just going to believe in conspiracy. But let's get it.
The abortion election. We have to stand up to this evil. When you join forces with Preborn, the largest pro-life organization in the nation, you are protecting the greatest victims in our society. Babies in their mother's wombs.
Give me 1 second, y'all.
And it's like I said, it's stunning because we had Judge Joe Brown on here, and he's confirming all of the same things. You know, he was speaking about Martin Luther King's assassination. He was speaking about, you know, how the government had a hand in that. And it is, I think, for a lot of people who, over a million people, I think 1.5 million people have watched that episode, and they said, I feel like I'm learning American history for the first time, because you learn in your textbooks that everything was just above board, and America has just been this great country. And, you know, it's very stunning to hear from people who grew up in these various cities about, you know, mafia-related crimes, talking about drugs, talking about the corruption of Kamala Harris and how she was in the weeds on this, and quite terrifying, knowing that she is trying to be elected as the president of the United States. I do want to shift gears and talk about her mother, because I was quite stunned by your assertion that she was involved in the MK Ultra program, and yet that to me seemed to be the only thing that made sense, because she seemed to be sort of infiltrating the civil rights movement. And I'm going, what is this alleged brilliant scientist doing, you know, constantly involving herself in civil rights protests and making friends with these individuals? And because I'm well read on the MK Ultra program, I recognize the connection there. Can you speak about what she did, or what you...
Now, shout outs to LT, man. We talked about that a couple of shows ago, because I wondered, why the hell is Candace going so deep in on Kamala? I think at some point Candace will run for president. Now, I'm still going to be hezzy. Yes, I said the word hezzy. I'm still going to be hezzy on voting for her. But I would rather Candace Owens be the president than Kamala. I would rather Candace be the president than Kamala. And you never know, she might go up against Kamala. So she making sure she got ammunition already put down, because I'm wondering, why the hell would she go that hard? You know? You know? Now, when Candace Owens first got to YouTube, she kind of leaned a little bit more to feminist, her and the Amala. And we had to kind of go in on her. And then after a while, she kind of got the memo that, hey, Candace, pipe down a little bit. A lot of guys like you more than women, so I wouldn't be too, you know. And then I think some broad gave her a hard-ass time, and then she really started going with the fellas. Didn't Omarosa or some other broad cursed her out or some shit? Some other broad gave her a hard ass time, and then she started really seeing where men were coming from. And yeah, you know, so a lot of Amala and a lot of women, as soon as they got on YouTube and they realized that they have a big male demographic audience, you know what I'm saying, then they really started pandering towards the men and really started looking at politics a little bit different. And then I think her being around Ben Shapiro, you know, really, you know, made it a little bit more sweeter for a lot of cats. So let's get it.
You are alleging she did, yeah.
Well, the first thing, look at first place, you gotta understand that the Pollen clan, they were like clerks, judges, spies for the British when India was a British colony. And Miss Kamala,
y'all support the show, y'all.
When it was still a British colony. So the rest of the country was up in arms fighting against the British, but they were very, very loyal to the British intelligence service and police service in India. So this is how they all got ahead, by catering to the British. And that enabled Shyamala Gopalan, when she was, after she got her degree in Madras, India, to enter UC Berkeley, which is not the cheapest school in the universe, nor is California a really inexpensive place to go. It's one of the most expensive places. I know. I went to school there. It's very expensive there.
What do you think will happen if that was to happen, though, in Same One? And Same One says, it would be crazy if we went into an era of non-politician presidents. People have been slandering The Rock, so he can't run in the future months. Yeah, Obama and The Rock sound the same. The Rock Obama. You know? They have the same speech pattern. But I don't know. I don't think it'll be too good. I think the era that it would be good for like celebrities or non-politician presidents and certain people in government to be running around, I think we passed that era. You know? I think we're past the era of people really caring. You know? I would definitely hate to see it in this era because too many people and things are looking for clout. You know? You said they're kiss asses. A lot of times, absolutely. Oh, Rascalot.
She worked at the monkey lab there. She was into it's a real strange combination of psychology and simian studies and zoology, okay? And she was an expert, training monkeys and all that. And Madras is an area, her hometown, where there's a lot of monkeys running around the Hindu temples and all that. And so she's very familiar and very good with them. And she developed the theory that and this was a time of Jane Goodall. There's this huge boom of women who work with apes, okay? There were ape programs set up all across the United States and England and Europe out of the excitement of the Goodall story, news stories. And Goodall were treating apes, the monkey children, as sort of like human children and getting some very, very good responses of taming them. So she was of that school. Now, what happened while she was at UC Berkeley, after she got her degree, she moved out of Berkeley and took her 2 kids and divorced her husband, this guy Harris, Donald Harris, who was, at the time he was in biology, then he went into law. Divorced him and moved to San Francisco and did nothing for 2 years. She waited 2 years while her application was in to a hospital in Montreal. So this was the Jewish hospital in Montreal, okay, that she applied to.
Yes, that's where she eventually did work. Yeah, she was eventually employed there.
Process, because they had to check all your background, everything, every little detail about her. And this is because the very famous psychiatrist who really got the MK Ultra program going, Ewan Cameron, he was a Scottish guy, a pedophile, and he was a torturer. He used all sorts of drugs on victims of that program. He passed away, and there was like about 7 to 8 year hiatus where his program was shut down because there was no one in charge, and they had to move the program because Congress, there was a secret, not so secret. There was an investigation in Congress about MK Ultra, so the heat was on the Canadians. The UN Cameron's lab was in Montreal, okay?
Oh, snap.
The heat was on the Canadians to fess up, so they shut that lab down. There's an infamous Allen lab, and then they wanted to set up another center, also connected to the University of McGill University there in Montreal. It had to have
what's going on, underrated? Okay.
And in the meanwhile, they were trying to find the new director to take over from him. And they finally got the call. They brought her over. They set her up at another one at the Jewish Hospital Annex. And she took charge of the monkey. Not only a monkey lab, she took charge of the patient care ward. It was a small patient care ward side because at that hospital, Jewish Memorial had a psychiatric clinic also. So she worked as a psychiatrist there in a very small division.
So
which became the new.
He's confirming that the MK Ultra stuff was real. I didn't know they had a branch in Canada. Yeah, it's like MK Ultra. It's like there was a time too on the internet where you could really look it up. Rabbit hole and go look up certain stuff about it. It's gonna send you in like a circle. But MK Ultra is like it's like mind controls, a lot of experiments and studies, and just different like just crazy shit. I'm not too into like the conspiracy theorist type stuff, but I have known for years that the MK Ultra stuff is a real thing. But every conspiracy, quote unquote, conspiracy theorist, they confirm it. Yeah, I looked into it a little bit when I was younger, so I knew enough. But I guess it goes deeper. I thought it was the end of it, but yeah. But Candace bringing this shit out, the big guns out before Kamala gets elected is diabolical. Candace got to be careful.
The Center for the Revived MK Ultra program.
So does this
Okay,
Jackie
so
Chan.
I'm just going to ask a question here. So I did not realize that the person who started the program was a psychologist named Cameroon. I was under the impression that the person, Ewan Cameron, yeah, I was under the impression that it was Dr. Sidney Gottlieb who...
No.
Okay.
Sidney Gottlieb was a gopher. He was applied. He wasn't into research.
Okay.
He just applied everything Cameron had developed.
Okay.
Use of drugs, hypnotism, light deprivation, all of those nasty techniques to destroy a human willpower.
Wow.
Capture their brain. Gottlieb is the famous one, and everyone thinks MK Ultra was basically the American technique. No, it came out of London. It came out of the Tavistock Institute.
But I mean, the shit is stupid now. I mean, who are you gonna MK Ultra nowadays? Everybody's repeating the same shit they heard on social media. Y'all hit the like button, support the show. Everybody's repeating the same shit they heard on social media. Everybody's saying the same damn thing. Who the hell gonna steal your information? You willingly give it up. Like, you don't have to brainwash people if they're participating. A lot of people don't think for themselves. And even if they do, it's like what we do? We think that logic is the end all be all. We like bypass emotional intelligence. We bypass our gut feeling that tells us certain things. A lot of dudes have gut feelings before some bad shit happens or death. So even if you do think for yourself, sometimes you got to come on social media, run into somebody like myself or somebody else that you listen to. Because when you do think for yourself, and if anything that you say is brand new, unique, profound, you think you bugging. And then not even that. Who's really around to confirm it? Who's really around to tell you, yeah, that's how it is? Who's really around to validate your own thoughts? Not their thoughts, your thoughts. Who's really around to say, bro, that's genius. You should do it. Bro, that's or push you in that direction. Because your phone for sure ain't going to validate. Your phone will steal that shit and give it to somebody else before you. This is why with AI technology, inevitably there is going to be a war between man and algorithm and artificial whatever. It's the organic trying to create the mechanic to be organic. What does mechanics use? Straight up logic. A man-made robot can never be right. It's just another form of man trying to play God all over again.
Of Sigmund Freud.
Yes.
World War II.
I am just so shocked that you are bringing this up because I got into a lot of trouble with the media for discussing Sigmund Freud at length, and I've been doing it on this podcast. It's super important for people to learn the truth about him, that he was a person who created a method of psychology essentially to gaslight people who were, in fact, being molested by their own parents, you know, and that
I didn't know that, UFO.
He was obsessed with children and sex, and it's shocking that we learned that he's a hero in psychology, and it's just very important for people to learn the truth about him because psychology is then, his family is then what bred propaganda. That would be the Bernays family and Edward Bernays. And you are correct. This all fits right into the MK Ultra program, which was designed to see how you could break down someone's will, how you could hypnotize them. We spoke at length on this show about how the Charles Manson murders, that was actually the CIA. And
oh, yeah, absolutely, LT. I definitely remember the old school Mickey Mouse cartoons. Yeah. Steamboat Willie. Or was it Steamboat something? Was it Steamboat Willie? They used to use blackface in the Mickey Mouse cartoons. You know, it's everywhere. I mean, go look at Dragon Ball Z. What do you think Mr. Popo is? He's a blackface. But he's supposed to be a Moor. Piccolo and them, they supposed to be black. The Saiyans are supposed to be black. It's weird. It's weird. But it's another story of the Monkey King. Let's get it.
Everything that the public thinks they know about that. Same areas you're talking about, San Francisco, California. You know, these are federal agents that were obsessed with learning how to hypnotize the public, how to destroy people's will. And a big part of that was molestation. And Sigmund Freud had, in fact, written pieces about how, you know, molesting someone when they are a child, sodomizing. They were interested in exploring how they could create psychopaths. That's also another element of these programs and psychology. And I think it's hard for people to come to terms with how evil that is. And you're now saying that Shamala got the call and she then took a...
I seen that. I seen that. Yeah, Mickey Mouse, man. Mickey Mouse was smashing the hell out of that wheel cheese, man. Yeah, Mickey Mouse was swissing that cheese. That's some funny shit. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy. I do remember that.
Part in this program of testing patients.
Military intelligence created this. Brainwashing techniques. They developed obviously massively during World War II because they tried to use that against the enemy, German allies, and so on, and the German enemy, and also against reluctant allies. They tried to use mind control techniques. But after the war, I think it was in the late 1940s, or 1946, between 1946 and 1948, the British military...
It's turning the frogs gay! What Alex Jones say? It's turning the damn frogs gay!
Created the Tavistock Institute, which is on Tavistock Square in London. Sigmund Freud himself flew over from Switzerland to London to cut the opening ribbon. And then he assigned one of his sons to be the director of the place. He was right behind. He was the main psychiatrist in his family.
Yes, I'm familiar with Tavistock. There is also some indication that even the Beatles and music has come out of Tavistock University and how it could transform, modifying human behavior.
That they're crazy as hell.
Yep.
It's all about mind control.
Right. That's exactly right.
And so then what happened, as the this came under some parliamentary review. There's some complaints, so they decided to move the core of the program to Montreal, former a British colony, close to the United States, for contact, and sort of out of the way. Who would ever suspect that this dark devious program is going on in beautiful, wonderful, forested Canada, right?
Wow.
In the French part of Canada too. Who would ever suspect that? And they could use the French as guinea pigs, right?
Yeah.
Now, when Kamala came in, there was concern about the British colonies, and so Kamala was more adapting this to the colonial subjects, not just the Caucasian people. And so they sent over a British disinfo agent, Hardy L. Baines. He was a character. I've actually been to one of his speech. The case, he was very intelligent, perfect English, but obviously there was something touched about his brain. And then he created the Communist Party Marxist-Leninist, okay, of Canada. Okay, it's the only Communist Party in Canada. And really evil character, okay? And the patients that Kamala was producing for, very convenient, both Indians. He was a Sikh, but very independent of the Sikh movement. He was not part of the Sikh liberation movement. Him and Kamala were we call conspirators, I guess you call them. She would give him her patient.
So you got Chimera Harris. And a Sikh. What happened to her black pastor? Didn't she say she had... Oh, bumbaclot. Rascalot.
The young ones, especially, they were focusing on younger people. They thought older people were not great subjects for this program. You use young guys who've been out of orphanages, down to detention. He put them with Hardio, and he did this thing called the living statues.
All right, hold on, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me. We losing signal. So we got Chimera Harris and her Sikh. All right, we should be back. We got Chimera Harris and her Sikh. And again, I asked, what happened to her black pastor? She just said that she had a black pastor. What happened to her black pastor? She hanging with Sikhs? Oh, bumbaclot. Oh, rascalot. What happened to her Sikh? Or her black pastor? Lord have mercy. I think the only thing that's going to make her win the black vote is if she says, when I get in the office, I'm going to free Lil Durk. She'll get some of y'all to vote for her. I'm a free OTF. She going to free Lil Durk when she get in the office, y'all. Alright. Shit.
Okay? He would. I saw one. I think it was a July 4th weekend. I was off. I had a lot of jobs in New York, but July 4th, I was my rare 4-day holiday. I took off with a bunch of friends, and one Canadian guy wanted to go home. We drove up there all night, and in the morning, as we approached Montreal, we saw the human statues, on the road. So we slowed down and stopped. got out. My friends
Oh,
were
I'm pretty sure they do.
drinking beer all night. Walked up to these guys. They're guys and women, girls, guys and girls. They were all in these revolutionary poses, posing like Russian revolutionaries, some with their fists up, others holding up a stick like it's a gun and all that. Right on a public road, okay, a major highway, not a major highway, but a highway. We got out. My friends walk up to them and start to boo, try to get them to flutter, to wince. They wouldn't move at all. They're full on that. And one guy wanted to poke one in me. I said, better not do that, man. If you could be sued. Gouge your guy's eye. And then we all got spooked at once. They said, this is really, really, really weird. We got to get out of here as fast as we can. So we jumped back in the car and went to Montreal for basically a weekend bash, which turned out to be a total bust. And so I got a glimpse of the Living Statues program. This was later applied to the Vietnam War. Okay, soon thereafter, the CIA recruited. They just put together a group of 200 special combatants to helicopter into the Ho Chi Minh Trail into Cambodia and Laos because it's illegal to fight war then.
Yep, I've talked about that here.
Would be dropped off the
That's where I'm at.
He could run like up to 410. So endlessly. These are really mind control people. They would hide behind the tree trunk like up to 2 or 3 days to await the person the officer they're supposed to shoot, kill.
Oh. Yep, they'll
without
stake out.
going to the toilet, without batting their eyelashes, and in that same frozen pose. And then with some sort of timer they had, I have no idea, the timer would put them awake, warning them that the guy's coming down the road. They take a shot at him, kill him, and then run like hell. Now, out of that program of 200, there were only 12 survivors. The 30 dozen, we call them. They got back to the United States. The Army flew them back. They were all at the CIA headquarters together, and the CIA said, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. We don't know who you are. You're lying. And kicked them out. And they became sort of a motorcycle gang in North Dakota and Western Colorado. And I met one of them, so I knew the backstory of it. He was a Canadian Indian.
Wow. This is
there at Shyamala's facility when he was a kid, when he was young, a teenager.
Do you think you know who will win the presidential election or how many seats Democrats or Republicans will win in the House or Senate? Well, there's a legal financial exchange that lets you trade or bet on the outcome of these elections, and it's called Kalshi. Kalshi went to court against the Biden administration and won legal approval for election betting for the first time in over 100 years. They have markets on who will win the presidential election, who will control the House and Senate. Fitting a little too perfectly with what you're telling me, realizing that her family was involved in the slave trade, that they were involved in Freemasonry, that for whatever reason she's trying to make everyone believe she's every ethnicity but what she is, which we have been able to determine from Kamala's family, who have been very forthcoming and don't support what she's doing. Some people in her family have told us, look, we're Syrian Jews. I don't know why she's hiding this fact. And then some of her family members who are Jewish in Canada said the exact same thing. Like, we all feel like she's trying to hide the Jewish aspect, which is quite strange.
Oh, shit.
The other thing that alarms me about what you're saying.
Oh, shit. She's a Syrian. Oh, bomba clot. Rasclot. She's a Syrian. Oh, shit. Lord have mercy. Jesus Jamal Christ. 157 votes on the poll. Make sure you double tap the like button, subscribe before you hit the poll. Does Candace Owens have a vendetta against Kamala? 29% says yes, she goes in. 50% says no, it's a journalistic standard. 10% says, oh, bumba Ross Clot. 11% says wow, just wow. Again, I don't know about going back to Africa. But I will say this. Kamala at this point is like, wow. If you just been watching Candace, you know, I'd be confused, you know, at this point. We don't know if she's Indian, Canadian, Jamaican. Obviously she's in a sorority. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say Masons are bad. I'm not gonna say, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but you just gotta study and know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say every person that owns or have owned slaves were bad also. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, it was just what was going on at the time, and it was the thing to do. Do I condone owning slaves? Hell no. You know, but if you don't think that there's no modern day slavery going on today, then you understand what I'm saying. Then you're a bit slow also. But I will say this: you got to do your research on all of this stuff because it's going to seem fucked up. On the last show, I was telling you guys, if you don't understand war and certain aspects of war, you're not really going to understand a lot of the shit that you're going to be hearing and seeing and stuff like that. And then War Master made a good irony. His name is War Master. War Master made another good suggestion too, which I think is even bigger than war when you think about it, which is economics. You know what I'm saying? Economics. You know. So sadly, as the president, I'm not gonna lie. You're going to have to choose in certain cases who gets to survive and who gets to live. You're going to have to choose, hey, we're going to have to take out this building. That means a couple people going, you know, you're going to have to make some fucked up decisions. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure, you know, you're putting somebody that has the mental fortitude to, to make those type of decisions, you know. But yeah, I didn't know anything about like the masonry and all that other stuff. But then again, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you know, a lot of the fraternities and a lot of the yeah. Let me go ahead and get y'all up out of here. Gang, you can get up out of here, and Dre, you can get up out of here too, man. All right. So yeah. Y'all gonna y'all gotta learn how some of this stuff works and how other people are looking at, you know, at certain things. A lot of evil motherfuckers don't think they're doing evil. You know, a lot of evil people believe that they're the last thing that's evil on the planet. You know, anybody can look evil without no history or research on something. Anybody can tell you somebody's evil and people will believe it. You know, so make sure y'all do y'all research on some of this stuff, because I'm not going to outright just say, hey, man, Masons are bad. Hey, man, you know, this is bad. You know, do your research on it. Have some type of understanding of it. You can still disagree with it and have some understanding of it.
Though, is for Kamala to engage in this and to engage in what can only be described as program as human torture, to see if you could basically set a human being to blank, set a human being to zero, and fill them with whatever you wanted to do, turn them into robots. And there is an aspect of Kamala that...
But you don't have to do that with people. What the hell is brainwashing nowadays? Just give a nigga a cell phone. Give somebody a cell phone. Like, you don't gotta brainwash nobody. It's dumb people and smartphones, allegedly. Get them a cell phone.
Feels as though she herself has been brainwashed, and I vividly recall her relative who I spoke to saying that far from the depictions of her relationship with her mother that she gives to the public today, her mother was militant, is what he said. Her mother was absolutely militant with her children, and she now makes it seem as though she had this flowery childhood. So you have this woman who, for work, is engaging in this psychiatric torture of citizens from around the world. And then you hear from her family member that she was militant with her children. And then I watch Kamala's behavior today, and it seems like she is a blank slate in which she allows every personality to fill. Like, she can be Jamaican yesterday, she can be Hispanic tomorrow, she can act like a black preacher, as she's just done. And that terrifies me, in a sense. It's almost as though Kamala herself has been brainwashed. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. You don't understand.
See, both of y'all are hating on Kamala because you failed to thank our union member.
Her mother had to take care of these patients. They're her treasure. They're that's her ride. That's her income. She was able to buy a house with all that, and a pretty damn good house in Montreal. But her problem is she couldn't take care of her daughters. She's so much with the patients, so she had to regimen them, and she did with the techniques that she knew. And they were basically MK Ultra light. Let's say MK Ultra light rather than the whole treatment. Okay. Yeah. And that accounts for her weird speech patterns, or her sort of bizarre eye movements and body movements, or turkey stuff. That's just straight like these MK Ultra guys that you and me. Like that one super soldier I met. He's perfectly normal over beer, and suddenly he'd go into his crazy jerky fits where it could be dangerous. He could kill you. So that's basically the same as Kamala. Again, she had a lighter version of it. That she not the whole hog. They didn't send her to Syria, to kill a bunch of jihadists or anything. But she has definitely been touched by that. And her sister also. She was another one. Maya. She was one of the three main campaign advisors to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Right. So they were placed there sort of as controllers. And look at Hillary, what happened to her? From a sort of a goofy person into a robotic person. Right. Same thing. The program continued, and her sister was the minder. She had been through the program, and somehow they got Hillary into the program. Scary stuff what they were doing. And the scary stuff is after that program in Montreal and the congressional investigation in the USA by Congress, the whole thing disappeared off the face of the earth. We didn't get these glimmers after that. We know that big Seattle Anti-World Trade Organization protest by the labor unions. And my ex-wife was a member of the Culinary Workers Union in San Francisco. She was up there. She said, a bunch of these crazy guys from Canada wearing masks. There were these small, short guys, and then the big, tall guys came throwing rocks at us, hurling rocks at us like crazy guys. And while the tall guys watched. And I told her back then, those are some of the MK Ultra patients. And the tall guys are the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, keeping an eye on them.
That's just unbelievable. And it's funny that you bring up her sister.
In the late 80s, so the program cranked on, but they found, instead of just murdering people, probably this Black Lives Matter thing also. You had all these very weird people coming in and starting a lot of trouble, violence.
Oh, yeah.
Where most of the protesters were they're just laid back hippies, Yeah. So I think that was another MK operation too, especially when the rioting was going on. It was 4 days of rioting or something, burned up properties, killed a bunch of people.
Oh, there was no question that was a Fed operation. I mean, when I observed it, it had all of the aspects.
The thing is, you look at Portland, Oregon, and you look at Minneapolis, close to the Canadian border, close to the Canadian border for these operatives to come down.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah, it was just amazing. The police just couldn't arrest these people. They just couldn't make it happen. But then January 6th, they're suddenly able to identify every single person who attended. And so you really understood that the government was involved, because when they want to capture people, they certainly do. And when they don't, they certainly don't. And it's interesting you bring up her sister Maya, because very recently I was able to determine how strange it is that her daughter, which is a young woman named Demina Harris, has no father. And what I mean by that, and we just keep seeing this happen, is that she had a child allegedly when she was a teenager, and there's no father on the birth certificate, and nobody knows who the father is. And we have been kind of obsessed with, on this podcast, with this recent recognition that it appears as though they're breeding politicians. They all have this very shady background. Everything you're speaking about reminds me of the Emmanuel Macron upbringing and his story and all of the strange aspects. And he's married to a person who lived as a man for 30 years. And the entire state is colluding to gaslight the public on this fact, despite all of the evidence to the contrary. All of the evidence pointing to the fact that Emmanuel Macron is married to a man who, at best, committed statutory rape against him when he was a teenager. And so we're seeing this program sort of
I mean, damn. I mean, people are surprised that the government is lying to them. Like, they're that surprised. And damn, what the hell is going to do? Matthew who? Got Rob paid. Somebody said that day that Candace Owens is being used as a puppet. You know? Shout outs to LT, man. He said, I'll be listening, but I have to get this huge order ready by 10 a.m. Talk to you soon. Man, listen, have a healthy, productive day at work. I'm gonna make another quick commercial, and I'm gonna actually upload it, and I'm gonna air it on the show and get your thoughts on it. Alright? So I'm gonna be working on that tonight. Where I'm at, it is late at night. So, you know what, y'all? I'm going to get to it. Thank you, everybody that hit the like button and supported the show. You know what? We're gonna stick a pin in it right here. You know what I'm saying? It's Player Talk Radio. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're gonna be going live again. We got so much stuff to cover. Okay, yes, may the Lord shine upon everyone. Thank you again, LT, man. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all hit up LT, man. Go to Hemp for Fitness and get your hands on some high-quality smoke. All right, get your hands on some good, high-quality smoke. Go get you some za. You know what I'm saying? Get right for Halloween. You dig what I'm saying? Don't be out here smoking that fentanyl now. You know, get you it from a trusted service. You get to see where it's grown, how it's grown, you know. Come on now. We moving on to some bigger and better things, okay? Alright? You said she's speaking for the mind of Trump. That's what some people say. So some people say Obama is in Kamala's earpiece. And then a lot of people say that, well, Candace is being controlled by Trump. You dig? Shout outs to LT, man, right there. There goes the website right there, y'all. hempforfitness.com. Make sure y'all head there. I'm gonna see if I can tag your brand on the channel. I just gotta figure out how to do it. So I gotta do some research tonight. All right, y'all hit the like button. It's Player Talk Radio. I am your gracious host, DJ Kuda. Good morning. It's Player Talk. Peace.